And we're back with another episode of Love and Hip Hop New York, Season 9, Episode 8. This is Collateral Damage. Yandy has become a foster mom, Cyn makes a breakthrough, and Sidney Star, she doesn't seem to be too serious about her craft. Stay tuned for all that and more right here.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
You know, this episode, I feel like we need to be a little mellow. We didn't need to turn up too much this time.
Everybody needs some love.
Right? Everybody needs love on this episode. It's a lot of damaged relationships. They're trying to get back right. And this is a jam right here from Teyana Taylor. Gonna Love Me. I rock to this in the car sometimes.
Yes, it's too short. It's not long enough.
I know.
Actually.
I'm your host, Miss Conversation Peace. Thanks so much for tuning in with us. I got my girls with me.
Hey, it's Rhavin with a V back in the building.
Hey guys, it's Thelma Mbaezue-Daniel.
All right, ladies, let's get right into this episode. What are your overall thoughts of it? It was a lot for me.
Very deep, very emotional. It was like 1-800-TISSUE, sponsored by Kleenex. But it was important. Yes. I think it was very important to have
a lot of important
episode.
Conversations.
Yes. And it touched so many different areas that can be relatable across the board for a lot of people watching.
You know, I think like this episode had to be, you know, when it happens once or twice, you're like, okay, this particular season, this context of Love and Hip Hop is really touching on a lot of issues. You see it happen with the conversation with Joel's having with his kid. That was really rare. Mm-hmm. But I think this episode just tied it all in. We just had, like Rhavin said, a lot of big hitters. But I think Infinity Story definitely was the winner for me.
Yeah, I feel like the appearance from Dr. Jen, I think she's the doctor from Marriage Boot Camp.
Yes.
And the fact that she's an actual therapist and she made an appearance, I'm thinking the whole cast needs to sit with her. Like,
I appreciate her.
They should do a whole Love and Hip Hop therapy session show. I think they need it.
Or they should do Marriage Boot Camp reality edition since they got the hip hop.
I think they
edition.
did that.
They have hip hop right now.
Yeah, they have hip hop, but I think they did it. That's when Amina first got on, and it was like Real Housewives of Atlanta.
So
and
maybe just Love and Hip Hop.
Just Love and Hip Hop, yes, because they all have issues. Dr. Jen sits down with Joe first. He's actually had a breakthrough with her, which is why he called her back in to speak with Cyn. And that's when we learn the backstory from Cyn and why she doesn't want a nanny. And I feel her because I've even seen some, those shows on ABC where they do those Dateline specials and the nanny beat the kids and they be like, oh, she just fell down and scraped her knee. No, you beat my child. And I saw it on camera. And when you see something like that, who knows how you're going to react? And then Cyn having this trauma, it could just take her there, and really, send her, downward spiral. So she is very fearful of leaving her child with someone. And I don't blame her.
I think the biggest part of that, it's beyond just not knowing what someone's going to do to your kid. But like you said, what she went through. Like her mom left her with someone that she trusted. And in turn, something like that, the molestation happened. So that's a trigger right there. When you think of your pride and joy and your baby boy or your baby girl or anything, you're like, that can happen to me. And just going through something like that, it takes a lot because we see, just kind of piggybacking off of the whole surviving R. Kelly thing. If you guys, we have that too. You guys should check that out on AfterBuzz TV. We see a lot of times people's stories and what they've been through kind of shapes them into what they are and how they treat other people sometimes. So I commend a lot of people that go through that and don't become that.
Yeah, either they're damaged or then they end up hurting someone else. So it's like hurt people,
Exactly.
Absolutely. And I definitely think that it's really important to see that she took a step, because a lot of times when people give you such harsh criticism, it's easy to let your ego take the primary space where it's like, what are you talking about? I don't know. And I really love that when you see relationships where it's like, okay, I can see my 70%, I can see my 30%, and they kind of work it out. So I thought that was really important to see as well.
Yeah, it's definitely important when you see the issues to just communicate, and it's like, maybe even bring in that third party. So I'm glad that they're working through it because they really love each other. They had the baby, and it was unexpected. It's like you're so in love, and then you just doing it like rabbits, and now you have a baby when you planned on waiting 4 years and you want to enjoy each other's company.
Exactly.
And now it's hard to do because that's with any relationship. Like if I was to get into a relationship right now and I was in love, I wouldn't want to just pop out a baby.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Especially when it's new.
Exactly.
And the thing is it sounded like she was a little hesitant going to speak with someone by herself at first.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that she did that. And then I didn't know, listening to Joe talk to Dr. Jen, is how he felt about starting anew with his baby boy and being able to be a father again and do it right this time.
Yeah.
That was deep for me because I had no idea. And they didn't really show if Cyn knew that or not.
Yeah.
So that was, I don't know, to see him.
I think she did know because we learned that he knew about, her being molested, but he just didn't know how to deal with it.
Right.
So yeah.
So knowledge doesn't necessarily give you the coping mechanism to support someone the way they need you to. So
yeah, it's always good to be open for mediation, whether
Right.
it's from a pastor or a registered therapist. And we also hear from Yandy, who's taking on another responsibility. She has kids, and when I look at it, it's almost like I felt like she almost kind of needed help. You got this 16-year-old that could possibly babysit for you, and you're super busy, and she didn't even take the time to do her background check. Like, teenagers can be sneaky. We've all been there where we,
Especially
try to
at
do what we want to
16.
do or be grown or whatever, and you can put on this front like, yeah, I'll be good, and then you're sneaking out the house at 2 a.m. So,
Right.
Yandy's mother-in-law,
Miss
Judy, got her to open her eyes and like, look, you bringing this girl around my grandkids. I need you to do your due diligence and see why she's in foster care, what really is going on, because we've all been kind of sneaky as a teenager.
Miss Judy always funny to me. She always with the mess. But in this instant, I was like,
She made sense.
you right,
Yeah.
Miss Judy, you right. And then when she asked Yandy, like, you haven't talked to the foster parents, you haven't talked to anybody, you just getting one side of the story. We all know it's 3 sides to every story. You know what I'm saying? So I really am happy that she took heed with what Miss Judy said, because normally Yandy would just be like, okay.
But I think it's really interesting and a little funny, that Yandy keeps getting blindsided in episode. It's like, how did you not
think of this?
She's so busy.
First it was Jonathan, like, I'm sorry, I think you're like hovering like a minor. I think that's
Government.
I'm not a lawyer, but I think that's like illegal. So if it wasn't for him, and now Miss Judy kind of like catapulting her entire idea of like this might be wrong, but I still think that the premise of the Infinity story is really at the root of like what we need right now. It's just like, if you can afford that child, granted, like, yes, she is getting something from it. I did think about that as well. Like, oh, this is a girl who can come in and kind of like help you out as well. But that has nothing to do with the fact that she's being here for this child and really like giving her a stable home that she honestly does deserve.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's important, to be mentors and to give back to the community, which she does with her organization. And she just, took a little personal liking to this girl and brought her into the home. And it's great that she decided to go the legal way because, like she said, her kids could be taken away and then they could be in the system and she could be caught up in this whole whirlwind that she didn't even need to be in. So she had to go through the legal way to do this, and it's kind of also an eye-opener just to look at our system, because it's like, what if they wouldn't have been so open to let her
and it's
keep
still
the girl?
not like permanent
Exactly.
yet. As we know, it's like a temporary thing, and as of November of last year, that was the last interview that I was able to find. It's still temporary, like it's still an ongoing thing, so that she can make it permanent. Exactly.
And so this is the thing about the system. They're doing their due diligence to make sure her home is safe, but at the same time, are these foster homes safe? They're really, being scrutinizing Yandy, but are they doing the same for these foster parents?
Right.
And the thing is, like, I think a lot of things
Go ahead.
I think a lot of things actually slip through the cracks.
Yes.
You know, when it comes to, like you said, like just looking at it on a micro level, like look at Yandy, yeah, so busy. On a macro level, there's so many things in our judicial system and our legislative system that just kind of like slip through the cracks, you know. And I definitely think that children, caring for children, protecting our children, foster kids, all of that is definitely within that umbrella, in my opinion. So I think that a lot of times, like even if she did have her child adopt Infinity for an X amount of time, there could be certain parameters where like priority would still be given to whomever is considered, you know, her legal or her original primary legal guardian or birth parent.
And it has to be signed off by them.
Exactly. And as she's getting older, she's 16 now, so like 2 more years, she's probably turning 17 soon. So she's definitely coming into a space where she has to make a lot of her own decisions as well.
And it sounds like she's been making a lot of decisions.
Oh yeah,
on her
she's been
own.
running out the house at 2 a.m. It just seems to me like she's just a typical teenager. We don't like rules when we were 16. I'm sure. I don't know. Some of us might have been angels.
Well, that's why I wanted to ask you guys what you thought about the whole her mom and Yandy conversation.
I mean, I feel like her mom seemed to be somewhat truthful, but at the same time, like when she ended up finding out that when Infinity found out that her mom met up with Yandy and she was so mad and she jumped out the car. And then we find out that her mom is a drunk. She's bringing all these men home and all this stuff. Like, both, like you said, two sides to every story. Nobody wants to own up to what they did. Infinity doesn't want to say, I've been running away and sneaking out the house. And her mom doesn't want to say, oh, I got these random men here. Right. So it's just like, and we know she's doing what she do because she got 6 kids. So you got some randoms up in there. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not judging. I'm just saying that's what's some going on.
No, and also I just feel like it's also like we're talking about, you know, going to therapy either as an individual or even in groups. I think sometimes like it's easy to point fingers, but it's a cycle, you know. Kids don't do what you say, they do as you do.
Hello.
So as you kind of like bring more attention to the kind of life that has been presented to Infinity, just presuming, you know, there are also some things that she has to work through with her mother, with her family.
Well, I don't know.
And they can kind of break some generational
If she's
curses.
gonna work through it with her mom, because is her mom, one, willing to sit down? Is she able to afford, you know, the therapy? Does the foster care system, you know, have that in place where you get the therapy if you need it? I don't think so. Also,
I don't think she's trying to mend anything with her mom per se. That's why she was so raged.
Exactly. And then also, Infinity is a very level-headed young lady. She says she studies on her own. She's getting good grades. She just has a little, you know, just curiosity. We all try to find our own way, you know, through life, especially as a young girl. So I feel like she's there. But at the same time, the reason that Yandy's mom even had concerns is because she looks like everything's okay via Instagram and social media, but everybody puts their highlight reel on social media, so we don't know what's going on
Everybody
with that girl.
puts their highlight reel on social media, and everybody is going to want to paint the other person worse than what it is. Sometimes, like the fact that she says she's been in and out of foster home all her life, and then
She's
you
exaggerating.
find out from her mom, she was like, no, she was just in foster home for the last couple months, or whatever the case may be, because she was living with her grandma the whole time. So I just, you know, I would like to know the stories, but at the end of the day, I find it disheartening when people go out of their way to tear people down. Like all the comments about like Yandy just doing it to look good and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of weird.
And
It's
the
just kind
last
of weird to me. It's just kind of weird. Like nobody can live their life without somebody speculating.
I don't know.
everything.
I do not dislike Yandy. However,
really feel from.
it's like the whole situation where she even brought the girl without doing it legally. Like, why did it take your mom and Jonathan for you to understand that? Like, I don't understand.
Did you really? Because we talked about that last week, actually.
she was working
like,
off
is it
emotions.
an intent of like? Because I kind of said like, I think she didn't jump to hugging her and consoling her and like giving her the "I will never let them take you away from me" speech, because maybe she knew in the back of her head, this is what I'm going to do, so I don't want to make promises. But I can see the other end of that, where people were like, oh my goodness, like, why didn't she do that? That doesn't come off like genuine. But one thing that I
Damned
was
if you do,
gonna,
damned if you don't.
exactly.
In this
So
world,
live
on
your
social
life.
media.
But one thing I was gonna add to what you said is that in addition to people just doing different things, I think they also send their representatives. Right? We've kind of talked about that a little bit. So it's like you said, you don't really know who the real anyone is.
Right.
Till
Yeah.
Right.
X amount of time going into it.
And we're finding out that Rich and Miracle and Ashley don't even know who Miracle is, because she's shooting someone and facing time, and Ashley knows nothing about it. She's in school. She knows,
She knows she shot someone.
Well,
'cause
she
had
knows
to drive him to the hospital.
Yeah, she drove him to the
But a
hospital.
woman doesn't just shoot someone.
I mean,
Okay.
touche.
She seemed very calm on this episode. Like, yeah, I shot him. I'm like, I don't know what's going. Like,
on some Hey Joe type stuff.
right? Like,
Yeah, shot.
I don't know any. Like, how can you be so calm? And I'm going to jail. Yeah, like.
I need y'all to help me.
Pray
Be
for me.
positive.
Like,
Pray
she
for
don't
me.
seem like, she seemed like she knew what she was
She
doing when
seemed
she
like
pulled
done
the trigger.
been through some stuff, and
She's
she's
like-
She's
like
from Memphis.
numb.
I'm from Memphis too.
she had
It's
a
rough
plan.
out there.
She's numb. She like numb. Like,
Yeah. I'm like, is it an abusive situation that she's going through? Like, what makes you shoot
I
your
feel
man?
like it's abusive, and it's so abusive to the point where they're still together.
toxic.
To the point where obviously she's like, he's not gonna file charges against her. But when Rich was yelling like, you don't even want to throw him under the bus because you worried about somebody's reputation and this, that, and the other. That means she's still with this man that took her to the level of shooting him. And my thing is like, well, did you shoot him in the back? Did you shoot him in the shoulder? Were you aiming for like a fatal shot and missed? Like, I have so many questions. And then your daughter was there. Like,
I remember a case in Florida where a woman shot
warning shots.
a warning shot, and she got almost life in jail or
Yeah.
something. So
And the crazy thing about that is just like, to some extent, we see these like shows in the movies and the Moulin Rouges, where it's like in the Chicago's, where it's just like, oh, it's kind of sexy. Yes, a warning shot. That is psychotic. Okay,
Girl.
you should.
No, that
Yeah,
is
if somebody-
survival. That is survival.
No,
Unless it's
I don't mean
the-
psychotic in the sense of like, I mean like normalizing that level of rage,
Yeah.
normalizing that level of fight, because it can't be the first time that
Yeah.
you just take out a gun. You probably pulled it one time. You
Or thought about pulling it, like, I'm gonna
you
kill
used
this
the
man.
word.
And was it his
You
or was it
threatened-
yours?
You must have threatened at some point, and then there are levels to such rage, and I feel like sometimes there's this weird like sickening array that people have with love and what it means to be crazy in love, and it's just too much. Let's
Oh.
be sane in love, like
you know what?
No.
She is crazy, because what is even like most confusing to me is the fact that she's basically trying to hide this situation from Ashley, and I'm like, girl, you should have thought about this before you pulled the trigger. Now you're like, well, I might go away and I just don't want to tell her about it. Girl, you need to be having this conversation, because you probably are going to jail. From the looks of it, I don't even know the full details of the case, but it seems like you're guilty.
Rich said it best. He said, what did he say? He said, you don't prepare for the best, and then the worst happened, like, she'd be shattered. You know what I'm saying? Like, you prepare for the worst. So if the best happens, you guys are like, oh, well, that was a pleasant surprise, but we were ready just in
Well,
case.
I don't know, because you don't want to, like she said, normalize it and feel like, okay,
she's
well, I might.
19.
But she might take, like you said, you do as your parents do and not what they say. So if she gets off so easily, Ashley might continue that cycle. So it's like, you want to be
But
aware
instant-
that there are consequences.
On one instance, we see Joel's telling his little toddlers that he's going away. She should be able to talk to her 19-year-old daughter and be like, you know what happened, you were there, just so you know, this may happen. This is what I'm facing. This is what I'm up against. She's not
And
a child
if
anymore.
there is something going on, like, all jokes aside, like, this is definitely a story of survival. And I feel like no matter the situation, we should be able to like hear the other side of the story.
communicate.
Too many times, like, we have people who are in the system, and it's like women who were protecting themselves or were sold or whatever was going on, but people come looking at it at a black and white situation. And you know, the foundation of law was never to necessarily benefit women.
It
So
doesn't
I
seem
think
like
that-
she feels remorseful. It feels like she's just like,
I'm about
look,
to not the
But just
expression.
in general, just in general, if that it was the case, because you don't know if
she
she's
might be
numb.
she might be the
She might be
abusive
numb.
one. She might be the crazy one. There's some women that abuse men too.
Yes, absolutely.
She might be trying to protect his reputation from being like a sucker, huh?
Oh my
Beat by
goodness.
his wife. Oh
Well,
my
Rich
God.
is feeling really guilty. He feels like he should have been there. He gets advice from his mom. His mom tells him to man up, be there for your daughter, bring her out here. That's how they even got there to have the conversation. But he was kind of hesitant. And then when they actually did in the conversation, he's like, man, I should have just been there for you. I should have never left Memphis. And she said it's not his fault. But what do you guys think? Like with the whole family dynamic, I mean, he does live in a whole different city. What do you think a man should do? Like,
I know he feels very helpless. And I do like to see this side of Rich because all we see is creep Rich dollars and all this kind of stuff. So I'm happy to know that he's backing them financially, whether it's for the financial aid, whether it's for the attorney fees and all the legal fees and everything, to finally see this side of him.
but this is the thing. You can't just think that money is going to do it. Like you said, you got to be there.
Of course not. But I don't think he really can be there the way in his mind he wants to be there. And I think that's the part that's breaking him apart the most is the regret of not being there and still the regret of right now. Like I still can't do anything but just be here and break the bank. Or, you know, like I can try and be supportive, but I really can't do anything. Like the damage has been done
But
at this point.
I just feel like sometimes like there's always road that can be traveled. There's always a way, you know, to figure out how to fight for your daughter. How
He
to
can
fight for your
support her,
family.
yeah.
And I just think that this brings me back to a point that I was going to make when you brought up Joe Budden, because he frequently says, like on his social media and such, like he's breaking the cycle when it comes to just relationships and, you know, like raising kids. And I think that that's kind of something that you're talking about, right? Like, what does it mean to be there, like physically? And I think that you can be there. You don't have to be geographically there, but like being present, meaning like you know what's going on in every aspect of their lives.
But
He
she's
could be
been
more
hiding
the
it.
father.
Miracle's been hiding it though. She's been hiding it from Ashley and she's been hiding it from Rich because we find out Rich didn't even know like the severity of it, like that she was charged with attempted murder. Now it's aggravated assault. Like, shouldn't you be like, if he's paying your lawyer fee, shouldn't you be a little transparent here?
I mean,
Or
more
be
so from his
asking
daughter
questions or
than his
something.
ex. Yeah.
I think he just took a
He
too
might be
much-
scared he gonna get shot. I don't know.
I know she's a G. I'm not messing with no miracle. I think he took a laid back approach and didn't realize until his mama put him in check, honestly. And then I feel like now he's moving forward. He wants to be the father instead of like the best friend, you know, the best friend daddy. Like he wants to be more of a father figure. I'm hoping that's what that is.
Yeah, that's the thing about having kids young, like this whole Cyn situation. You know, sometimes you just gotta give yourself time. I mean, things happen, and then that's when you have to take on the responsibility. That's where we see Infinity's mom, because she must have started having kids young. You know, she has 6 of them.
I know.
You know, so it's just like
tell
we
her.
gotta get our family dynamic back. You know, like the right way. Start having a husband first, and then the kids. You know, I mean, I believe in that wholeheartedly.
So I think that that's also like, you know, family is just the root of everything, you know, and then mindset when it comes to family and what we're building. So I think that that's very, very refreshing thought, and I agree with that.
And then this whole molestation and rape and statutory rape, like we got to protect our kids, and it's just hard because I remember so long ago. It took a village to raise a child.
I
Like
know.
your neighbor could beat
I
your
know.
child down and be
You
like,
didn't know where your kid was. You go next door and be like, "Did you see Ray Ray? I saw him going that way by the liquor store." What, you know?
I mean, but even in those same dynamics, you know, there might have been things going on with Ray Ray, but things were just always like a hush-hush. People cared more so about, like, what was perceived,
Yeah,
you
I
know?
guess.
But again, like, there was that level of decency, at least outwardly, right? In the way that you treated people, in the way that you treated older people. Like if you disrespected an older person, your parents were gonna find like that kind of thing.
Right. There was
On
no
a-
sneaking out the house
On
and
a
then
social,
you gonna run
yeah,
away.
of course you're gonna see. People are gonna see. They're gonna tell. There's no sense of like I've been living next to this person for 2 years. I don't even know what their name is. If I ran out of sugar,
That's what it is
Like
for
people don't
sure
do
now.
stuff like that. Exactly.
That's for
I
sure.
don't know my neighbors. Sorry, y'all.
But I don't know that there was
I'll
necessarily
be all up in my neighbor's business. Really? Because I need to know if you're next door to me making bombs. I need to know, I need to know my
I know they
surroundings.
smoking weed
we're
next
going
door,
there
but
today.
I don't know.
I know that,
I
but,
smell that in the hallway.
but if I have somebody above us, like, it sounds like they're building stuff at, like, from 11 p.m. to, like, 3 in the morning, like, I think you're a terrorist. What are you doing?
What you gonna do if you find out? They gonna blow you up before you
I'm
say
calling the
Okay,
popo.
time out. Can we? What's happening on this?
I know. We got
All we're saying is bring the village back. That's what
Exactly.
we're saying, okay? Bring the village
tied
back.
on in. Tied on in.
Stay aware of your surroundings. Don't disconnect from those around you. At the end of the day, it all takes connection and how we interact with one another.
Absolutely.
That whole blind eye, all that kind of stuff, that's not none of my business. I'm going to sip my tea, woo. That does not help the society grow as a whole, especially our culture.
Yes.
More importantly.
Something, say something.
Exactly.
Okay, TSA.
And then we get into Sidney starring Jonathan and
man.
Nia Lee. So Nia is offering her assistance to style and basically help Sidney with her artist development, which she's not really privy to. She's like, I'm good. I'm fly. I don't need help. And Nia says she's trashy. Now I'm like, now you were a stripper before. Your outfit doesn't look too far off from hers. And the last time I saw you on stage, you had a thong on with your jeans
She was
unbuttoned.
sagging in the jeans.
So
with
I'm like,
the
what
rhinestone
are
thong.
we? Who's telling her that she's a stylist now?
Literally, literally, you said it best last week. Just like, where are your credentials?
I last week I was
And
saying
intent, and the way you come about
present
it,
yeah,
the
like
way
how
you
you present
present.
it. But now I'm like, Sidney Starr is disappointing me. Like,
Yeah.
I was always a kind of don't knock it till you try it, so I was rooting for Sidney, and
Yeah, because she was an underdog.
yeah, but now it's like every time you walk in the building, you don't have to. Hey, it's Sidney Starr, the transgender diva. Hey.
It's
You don't
annoying.
have to. You are your presence. You don't have to yell your presence. Sometimes when you step into the building, just you stepping into the building is how you command the attention.
She doesn't know how to take constructive criticism. it
That
seems.
too,
She's very
she's very sensitive, and now I'm starting to think like this whole it's hard for me now. She keeps saying as a transgender woman so much that I'm like, okay, but this is not this. You could take that part out of it. This is when someone's giving you constructive criticism. Take it for yourself. It's no one's giving it to you because you're a transgender woman. This is just woman to woman right here. You know, so it's like, I know you want to represent for your LGBTQ community, but I don't think you're doing them justice right now. And I
No.
think that whole, all of that, I was like, oh.
And then what's confusing to me
I was
is
like, oh. I was grabbing like Jonathan. I was like, what are you doing?
he was baffled. It's like this, and it confuses me as well because you still were born a male. You still have male parts. So I feel like you're still a male fighting a woman. What do you guys think in that situation if they were to actually come to blows?
Well, I'm glad she's not with it. She's not with it. One, Sidney is not about it. It was very clear. I was just joking.
No, you can't joke like that.
Do you want to get? No, I don't. I was just joking.
But
I was like,
you
shut
can't
up.
keep poking the bear and then be like, oh, my bad.
Oh, my
Throwing your
gosh.
rocks and hiding your hands.
And
That's
then
what they
she
call
said,
it.
I want to show that I can be the classy. She said all these high tech words for the quite opposite of what she
It's
was
portraying, yeah.
when she walked in with that butchered Edward Scissorhand dress that she concocted. I was very confused.
Yeah, I'm confused. And it just seems like Jonathan needs a friend because they said that they've been knowing each other for some years. But this is episode 8. This is the first time y'all sat down? Did you know each other or did you
Jonathan,
take
you
a
just
picture with
popping
each
titties
other?
out.
Jonathan is
Right.
a
You just
fish.
popping titties and licking nips and
Oh,
stuff.
that was so appalling. I was like, ew. When he started doing that at the bar, I'm like, I don't want to see this. I didn't like that. That was gross.
No, he's definitely fishing.
That
But
was so
overall,
nasty.
I just feel like the biggest thing I got from this little forced friendship thing is that you just shouldn't force things. You know, you just shouldn't.
Don't try to
That
put circles in squares.
or you know, and maybe not circles and squares, maybe like circles and spheres, you know, because they're not too far from one another, but at the same time, it just was like one of those situations where I was like, yeah, that first vibe that you guys had initially, you should have ran with it. Like, that was it. You know, they kept trying to come back to it, like, oh, and she did the same thing when she was like, oh, sorry I came off so hard, like, da-da-da-da-da.
I don't like people who try to throw shade or just are, you know, out of control, and then they try to backtrack. Like, own your shit. If you're going to be a shady bitch, then just do that.
Yeah,
you might end up in a
time-
fight, but that's what we're here for. Love and Hip Hop, we fight every episode,
Yeah,
damn near.
The
So
first time is a mistake, but the second and third, that's a habit. That's who you are.
exactly. And I
So-
feel like a lot of transgender, I'm not trying to be generalization, but they seem to be messy sometimes. You know, like that's what they do. And one thing that was weird to me, her face isn't beat. Like Jonathan was saying, like she needs to learn some contouring tips, because I felt like a lot of drag queens, a lot of transgender, I'd be looking at them for the makeup tips, and it's kind of strange
guess
that
I
she
don't know if they
doesn't have it.
I don't know if they walk the street like that on the regular, but if they're like performing or if it's
Well,
an
not
event or
like
something.
actual drag look, but their faces are beat a lot
I
of
mean,
times.
I don't know. I feel like we can't generalize when it comes to that, because everybody, you know, wears makeup differently, and I don't think that's like necessarily like an identifying thing outside of performance. But yeah, I just feel like it's just all about the intent. The entire thing came out a little shady. Granted, she's sensitive, but we have to take into account like everything that she has been through.
But when
Yes,
you're
we want to-
sensitive, then you have to pull back a little too. You can't dish it and not be able to take it. Like that's
Hello.
the part that I'm having a hard time with. Like if she was sensitive and was a little calmer, then it'd be different, because then people wouldn't get all buck with her, you know, because Nia, she has changed so much, and now we seeing her getting tested again and again when it comes with Sidney. And like I said last week, maybe she would have been like, hey, we're going to work on, you know, your look, and then we'll get to the music. Maybe if she knew that ahead of time, she wouldn't have taken so much offense.
I
But
don't think so, because Jonathan even said she needed help with her makeup skills. So it's like,
he didn't tell her that. He said that in a confessional.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
But I just feel like I
Right?
think
Like-
overall, I agree with you guys. I just feel like, yes, we see her getting tested, we see Nia getting tested, but I just feel like at the end of the day, everybody's a makeup of their own history, their own biography.
manifested.
That's what I'm saying. Not even just, yeah. So there's just like basically you can only expect so much from somebody who is so touchy and so sensitive right now. And we see her kind of like growing in front of our eyes and having
No,
to
she
deal.
isn't grown to me,
Well,
and I don't
speaking
see
of
any
growing-
longevity for her on this show. I don't.
Speaking of growing, I mean, artist development. What do you guys think her
Terrible. It hasn't
was
changed.
it getting better? Is it getting
No.
better this
No.
episode?
It's the same
It seems like the
verse.
first two lines start off the same, and then she kind of like ventures off into something else.
And then forgets the rest.
I mean, she has confidence. That's great. That's really
That's
great.
a
But
great
she said
start.
she wanted to be. She said I had to hold you on this. She said she wanted to be
A star.
No, Cardi B level.
Oh.
She said Cardi B level.
Well, one, you can't be on Cardi B's
Listen.
level speaking transgender every line, because the audience is, to be real with you, they're not going to take to that. I mean, it's one thing to accept you as you are, but to keep throwing it in our face, like, I don't think it's going to happen on a mainstream level.
Be you.
Yeah,
you
but
don't
not on
have
a
to-
mainstream level. It's not
like,
going to
I
happen.
don't walk around saying I'm Belizean princess. I'm the Belizean princess. I'm the Belizean princess. Like,
Well, Joseline used to do that. I mean, you can represent your culture
but that's
or whatever.
what she's doing by doing that too. I guess
Is
it
it?
just some people can do it and some people can't. I don't know, because I don't want to make it seem like, I don't know. I don't like when people do that tagline every single time you see them. Like, it's just weird to me.
Frankly, I think it has nothing to do with her in terms of how much, excuse me guys, in terms of how much she pronounces it or even like projects it out there. I think it's more so the substance of her work. If she was coming with some Kendrick Lamar version, I don't care if you said,
listen,
I don't care if you said what, you know what I mean, and you're repping from now till whatever. That doesn't matter. As far as you're coming with the talent and you're giving us a flow and giving us something unique.
That part. But guys, before we move on to our next topic,
Tell us.
we just want to say thank you for making us the ESPN of Talk TV.
Yes.
And for us to continue to grow, we could use your help. So if you're on YouTube right now, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. And if you're listening on iTunes, please give us 5 stars. But no matter where you are, leave us a comment so you can be involved in the conversation. Being a part of AfterBuzz TV has meant so much to all of us here, and we truly appreciate supporting us and doing what we love.
Yes.
So don't forget to tell your friends, your uncle, your aunts, and everybody else, and keep enjoying our shows.
Yes, please retweet us. Thank you so much for tuning in each and every week for our loyal viewers. And if you're a newbie, let us know what you think.
Yes.
Leave us a comment.
I was trying to get the chat up, but it's not working. So
Well,
next
shout
week,
out to y'all. Leave a comment. We'll shout y'all next time. Even
sure.
tweet us. You can tweet us as well. We're gonna start putting up some tweets from you guys of your recaps because we want to know what you guys think as well.
You guys
you're
are part of it
You're
too.
part of our family. You know, AfterBuzz TV family, and I think we got a little bit of news and gossip for you guys.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
It's been a lot going on. Of course, these relationships, we don't know if they're real or fake, but Safari, he decides to show his boo some love, Erica Mena, who he was kind of joking on one episode, last episode?
Last week.
But anyway, so he decided to put a little throwback photo of when they met on Scared Famous.
Where it all
So he
started.
says, when we did Scared Famous, I used to say so many things jokingly, not knowing it would become real life. I can't wait for you to be my wife. I'm so in love with you. The respect you give me, the way you uplift me and make me feel like a man is something people wouldn't believe. I get to be with the real you and love every second of it. You make me feel like I can do anything, and I love you so much for it. I don't need to look any further because I found you. I watch you sleep sometimes in admiration, like I can't believe you're mine. I want to scream from the highest mountaintop on earth and how much I love you, but until I get there, I'll just tell you here, I love you so much. You complete me, and I can't wait for you to officially be my wife.
Oh, Lord.
Is that
That was really
sweet?
great until the "You Complete Me" thing. Well, it wasn't really great. It was great until the "You Complete Me" thing.
I don't know.
Tell me how you really feel.
Well, I think she's pregnant now. I hope it's real.
Wait.
No. I hope it's real. That was all positive. It's just like when people say complete, it just is like
You're supposed to
I
be
was talking
whole
about the
with
pregnant
that's
part.
it.
Yeah,
You're supposed to be a whole person. It's like, you elevate me. You know, with you. No, that.
Okay, wordsmith. She's like, I'm going to need you to use a whole different frame of mind because that right there was not it.
But
it was sweet. I mean, he's a true
99.9%.
Cancer.
It
He's
was
all
really
lovey-dovey.
What is her sign?
I know he's a Cancer,
She
though.
gives me Sag.
She's
Sag?
I think a Leo, because she seems like explosive. They kind of fiery, the women of that sign. But anyway, we got a little bit more news and gossip. I don't know if you guys have heard, but Alexis Sky and Fetty Wap's other baby mama, Lizay, got into it when she went to a bar that Lizay works at. It seems like she went to set her up. They're saying the DJ who actually DJs at the club was the DJ for Lizay's baby shower, and he's the one who booked Alexis Sky to come to this bar. And the aftermath was, Lizay, she walked up to Alexis like she wanted to fight her in the club. The security broke it up, and so after the club, she threw a bottle, and this is the aftermath. Let's take a look at the clip.
Star.
TMZ.
Oh,
So-
who is on the...
So the girl in the
Ooh, someone's getting dragged.
yeah, that's Lizay. And then the bad thing about it, she ended up in jail. So you doing all of this fighting over
So much
your baby
now.
daddy who does not
Where's Alexis
provide for
Sky?
you.
Which one is Alexis?
Alexis didn't fight. Her friends are fighting her. That's the crazy part about it. And the DJ is the one recording it. So they're saying the DJ set her up. And what happened was Lizay ended up crashing her car. She ended up getting arrested. And, I don't know what's going on with her and Fetty, but it doesn't seem like he's providing for her because, one, she's there it is. Lizay's right there. TMZ has the
she on the
official. Who's that on the ground?
But why are so many people
Oh, okay,
attacking
DJ,
her?
I'm gonna need you to
And
fix
why
your
there's so
windshield
many-
wipers first of
But
all,
why
since
there's
you're trying
so
to set
many-
people
no,
up.
this is like not okay. Why are there so many black men standing around
While women fight.
Why is that an entertaining thing for people? These girls
Well,
are
it's
hurting
entertaining.
themselves.
We watch it on Love and Hip Hop. So
No, this is not entertaining. Like, this is on Snow. People are actually getting hurt on there. Okay.
yeah, that's
Perhaps
horrible.
it's entertaining,
But
this was just not a
No,
thing.
I'm with you
And I'm just,
100%.
it was just really the guys standing around. Like, that is just, wow.
And to
there's a
even hear-
DJ inside of the car.
All nice and
recording
warm
it.
and cozy.
Excuse me?
yeah, it's a mess. I mean,
And
this
if he
is-
really did like set this up or whatever, because it sounded like he wasn't trying to just release it until he
got paid.
got paid to give it to TMZ.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel that is okay. Like, you're climbing on the backs of women. Like,
We are the most disrespected group of women or group race or just it's not no one here to protect us. Women are getting raped in the club. I don't know if you heard about that.
Yes.
And Oprah.
Women are getting taken advantage of by celebrities and R. Kelly, and it's just like who's here to protect us if you're gonna just make a mockery of it and put it on World Star and TMZ. Like, I don't
Yeah,
like
that
that.
was just really crazy. And not to say, like, everybody express yourselves how you want to, whatever. But I just feel like that was just a lot. Especially, that was just really, what really took, it was just the guys just standing
It's a
around.
lot, but I don't know if Lizzie is trying to secure a spot on Love and Hip Hop because Fetty's not taking care of her. Because it's like she has 2 babies by Fetty, which is the craziest part about it. And it's like he's not there for her. She's put him on blast on Instagram, and it's just like.
I think at the, you know what? I'm feeling very
much.
judgeful right now. So
Yeah,
I just,
like,
because
we're
I'm
not-
like, you having kids with somebody that's not there for you. Like, how you
Listen.
being mad at that? Like, do you secure your shit the way? Sorry, I didn't mean to curse. Secure it the way you can. Anyway, on that note, you guys.
Masika is doing that, texting us.
Right. If you or someone you know has been sexually assaulted, help is available. You can call the National Sexual Assault Hotline at 1-800-656-HOPE. That's 1-800-656-HOPE, or visit rain.org. That's RAINN.org.
Thank you so much for
real.
sharing that, because a lot of people don't have an outlet to run to, and there's organizations out there to help. So if anybody's going through anything that they don't have someone that has your back, reach out for
Please
help.
reach out.
Yeah,
please
reach out.
Please.
Because we don't want you to go through that. So we're going to get into our predictions before we get out of here.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right. We saw that little trailer at the end of the show. What do you guys think is going to happen?
It's really weird because I know that Yandy and Kimbella are friends now because I saw she was a bridesmaid
Right.
in the wedding. But I'm really curious to see the steps taken, because all I see is just shade after shade. Like, Kimbella is not feeling her. Like, any chance she gets, like, oh, she taking Affinity in. See, that's what I'm talking about. She always want to make herself look good. Oh, she trying to reach out to me on social media so she looks good. So I'm curious to see how they get through that.
Yeah. You want to see what was the turning point?
Are they going to show us that before the
Is
end of
it
the
fake?
season?
Is this fake rage for her storyline?
I don't know. Kimbella seems like really
Mad.
Yeah. Like,
But even the thing that she's mad at is not even worth being mad at. If you
that's what
riding
I'm
for
saying.
your, if
She's
you
mad
riding
at
for your friend,
herself.
either way it goes, if Yandy doesn't want to own up to the fact that she called you to the baby shower, okay, girl, ride for your friend. That's what you went up there for,
That's so
right?
deep.
That's what you said. You
Like,
you went
hurt
up there.
though.
Yeah, you went up there to fight for her, right? So what you mad for? Like, I don't understand that.
hurt.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I just think, when it comes to friendships, they're like sisters at this point. So I know I'm really happy to know that they got back together in that sense. But at the same time, I just feel like when I hear Kimbella say certain things, granted, Yandy has always been the girl who throws stones and hides her hands. We all know that about Yandy. Yet when I hear Kimbella talk, it's like, you need to relax, because a lot of these things just sound like self-hate, like you're projecting whatever
Yeah.
you're feeling and the different
Yeah.
things that you might be dealing with in your trauma and your relationship struggles right now on somebody who you are close to, who you feel like will always be there. Like, I can lash out at you right now and I know that we will fix it. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes when you're the strong friend, who Yandy can sometimes be to a lot of people, they think that it's okay to just kind of, lash out at you?
Well, my prediction is Ashley's mom going to jail.
Yeah.
She going in. She's good. Don't let me out.
Oh.
And Nia Lee, she gonna get a good shot in at Mariah, I think, because she looked like she was about to punch her in the face.
Yeah, where did that even come from? I guess
Whatever
Yeah.
conversation they were having, Nia wasn't having it. I think she's gonna get at least one good shot
she's
in.
too small. Leave Mariah Lynn alone.
I know, that's what she was like.
You
This
really
was
know.
my first time I saw Mariah kind of back down, because I've seen her be aggressive and
She
swing on
nuts.
people.
She nuts.
But she
I've
knows
seen her
that
jump.
Nia is. She knows that Nia got a 1-2, and she's bigger, so
Yes.
I already know
That's a
something's
good
going to happen.
prediction.
Yeah,
That's a
one.
wonderful
I would also
prediction.
like to add Safari's Junk will be released on Valentine's
Are we
Day,
buying
ladies.
it? Can
So-
we get a free sample?
If any of our AfterBuzz, look, if y'all get it, I would like to just see it for research purposes. I just want to see it.
Safari, send us a sample of your penis to AfterBuzz TV. We'll give you the address through the DM, okay? And Erica, don't be mad at us, girl. Come through. Come holler at us.
Oh my goodness, I'm done.
Yes, and
He
AfterBuzz,
actually
if you
will.
guys get your hands on
Okay,
it.
better
let us
yet,
know.
Send us some
how
pictures.
about you bring a copy here so we can interview him?
Yeah,
Yes,
there we go.
with the copy.
All
That
right,
would be
come through
wonderful.
Safari. I'm your host, Miss Conversation. Peace. Thanks for tuning in with us. We'll be back next week with another fully loaded show.
Rhavin with the V signing out. You can find me at B Stays Busy.
Wow.
She busy.
Busy. Well, I'm Thelma Mbaezue-Daniel. You can catch me on Instagram at Thelmy.
Hello. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, follow me on Instagram. Conversation Peace.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.